Hey 49er fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome into Chat Sports, and today, before we jump into our news and rumor videos, some pretty good stuff overall. Be sure to subscribe to the 49ers Report because we're less than 500 subs away from getting to 25,000 subs. Yes, quarter away to 100,000 subs in total. So go ahead and subscribe. First time ever watching, hit that red subscribe button down below. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the latest news and rumors. There's some good stuff going on right now in and around the world of the 49ers, and we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, but it's happened again. More wide receivers have been seen working out with Jimmy Garoppolo. So, as we know, with the current pandemic that is going on, minicamps, mandatory minicamps especially, obviously are not happening, so the teams are not able to get together and do their offseason workouts as they normally would. So Jimmy Garoppolo, much like a lot of other NFL quarterbacks, have been holding passing camps in different states to be able to be throwing and building that chemistry with a lot of wide receivers, and a very large group was spotted at San Jose State over the past week via some players' Instagram photos, which show that Jimmy Garoppolo is throwing passes and working on routes and chemistry with his wide receivers. So here are the wide receivers that we know for a fact we're seeing working out with Jimmy Garoppolo. Keep in mind, just because a wide receiver did not appear in the Instagram picture does not mean that they weren't there, but these are the ones we can actually say were there for real. So Jalen Hurd, Kendrick Bourne, Chris Thompson, Dante Pettis, and Brandon Aiyuk were all spotted catching passes from Jimmy Garoppolo up there at San Jose State. Again, not the first time that Jimmy G has led a passing camp like this, but it is important to keep noting whenever this happens because this is the big offseason for a lot of these wide receivers. Jalen Hurd, Kendrick Bourne, Chris Thompson, Dante Pettis, and Brandon Aiyuk, all of them have a lot to prove. All of them have a lot of high expectations, and all of them need to start getting reps with Jimmy Garoppolo. That way, when you get to training camp, it's not like, oh, hey, Garoppolo, I'm Brandon Aiyuk, your first-round draft pick wide receiver. I've never met you. Let's just figure out some chemistry. Building chemistry starts right now, and we'll go through the entire offseason and into the start of the NFL season. And you make the argument that Deebo Samuel and Jimmy Garoppolo were not on the same page for the first 4, 5, 6 games of the 2020 season, and then eventually figured things out and settled into a great quarterback-wide receiver relationship. So it's very good to see this overall. I wanted to update you guys in terms of what is happening with our 49ers, and this was the big news this week. All these young wide receivers, all these wide receivers coming back from injury, trying to, like Dante Pettis, figure out how to make the roster. We're spotted with Jimmy Garoppolo at San Jose State getting that work done. Now, there were some wide receivers that weren't there. Obviously, you think about Deebo Samuel, but who is the number one fantasy wide receiver for the 49ers this year? Is it Deebo? Is it somebody else? If you had to take a 49er wide receiver on your fantasy team, which one would you take? Let me know in the comment section down below. All right, moving on. So we talk about George Kittle a lot on this show because George Kittle is really the big news that is happening, but also hasn't happened yet because he has no contract extension. And there's a lot of blog posts and a lot of rumblings and grumblings right now in the 49er fan, kingdom that are talking about trading George Kittle. And so I wanted to break down how exactly you would trade him, what a trade would look like, and exactly what it would be in terms of getting rid of George Kittle. First off, I don't think any full 49er fan wants to trade George Kittle, but in the final year of his deal, if you get past this season without a contract extension, you get into the 2021 offseason, or even maybe at the trade deadline, if he's holding out and it's a big problem, then you could end up trading George Kittle because we know he wants $20 million, which I've said is a ridiculous amount of money, and based on a lot of your comments in the videos previously last week, agree with me that $20 million is way too much. So what could you get for George Kittle? Before we get to that, we want to go ahead and give a shout out to our sponsor for today's video, and that is Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com/49ers, the link you see right down below or in the description box, and you'll get 20% off your entire order and free shipping. You don't have to put in a promo code. It's already there for you. Manscaped.com/49ers gets you 20% off and free shipping. Go ahead and check them out as they have a ton of great products overall. They have great packages where you get multiple products, or just go ahead and get something like the Lawnmower 3.0 or the deodorant for everything that happens downstairs in terms of what Manscaped is able to provide. I encourage you guys to check them out. They sent me a bunch of their products. We use them every single day. They are fantastic, and we'll get you guys 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com/49ers. So talking back more about the Jimmy Garoppolo, the George Kittle trade and what it could look like and what it could impact. The main reason why this is going to be a big deal is money. We know that $20 million is too much money, but really we know that there are a lot of young players up and coming who will be needing contract extensions in the future. Maybe not in 2021, but they might need them later on in 2022 or 2023. And the big up and coming stars who will need big contracts, the wide receiver Deebo Samuel, Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, and Raheem Mostert are all players who will be having contracts sooner rather than later, and a lot of them are expecting to be like the biggest contracts at that position, or at least one of the bigger contracts at that position. Nick Bosa, if he balls out this year and in 2020 and next year in 2021, you can expect him to try and be the highest paid defensive end in the entire National Football League. Like, if he keeps progressing on the trajectory that a lot of people are expecting him to, you're going to have to give him a ton of money. Same with Deebo Samuel. Maybe not the best wide receiver in the league money, but still, $15, $16, $17 million per year, it's going to be a lot. Fred Warner might be one of the better middle linebackers in the NFL. He would want to be paid like it. And if Raheem Mostert balls out, he's not going to get a Zeke Elliott contract, but it'll still be a lot of money for a running back, even in a low-pay running back market as we see right now. The question is, what could you trade Kittle for? I did some research, and it's hard to find a tight end comparison for this, but just know it would be at least a first-round draft pick. I don't think the 49ers would trade him for anything less than a first-round draft pick. I've seen multiple first-round draft picks thrown around. It's just not possible. No one's going to give you multiple first-round draft picks for a tight end. Despite it being the best tight end in the National Football League, the stats and the on-the-field play back that up, but multiple first-round draft picks is not possible in my opinion. You'd be happy with one first-round draft pick. That way you could spin right around and draft another tight end who will take less money, and then you get him on the rookie deal overall. I don't think this is going to happen. I've said this many, many times. They will get a deal done. It'll be less than $20 million, and it'll happen this offseason, but if the worst case scenario happened, then a trade with somebody for George Kittle could be very, very possible. Question for you guys here. I gotta phrase this properly, because obviously you see, would you trade Kittle next offseason? A lot of people would say no. If Kittle wants $20 million and the Niners do not want to pay him that, would you trade George Kittle next season? Type Y down below for yes, type N down below for no. I want to see what you guys think and on this whole George Kittle thing, as I always do, in the comments section. Finally here, final bit of news here. We talked about this a couple of months ago in terms of Brandon Aiyuk having that core muscle surgery back in April. Did a whole 49ers report on the surgery and how long he could be out. Well, if you're paying attention in our first bit of news, Brandon Aiyuk was one of the wide receivers seen working out with Jimmy Garoppolo at San Jose State in California, or at San Jose State in California, which means he's fully healed and ready to go. So this is big news for Brandon Aiyuk, who of course is now getting those reps with Jimmy Garoppolo and is being able to hopefully learn the offense and learn just the Garoppolo tendencies that all wide receivers have to learn with their quarterback. And so far, at least according to Jimmy Garoppolo himself, it's going pretty well. Garoppolo said this a couple of weeks ago, quote, "You can tell when you're calling a play and you look into a guy's eye and you know if he's taking it in or if he's like, what the hell is this guy saying?" And he was engaged, he was locked in, and he's a fun guy to be around too. Again, remember how I mentioned there were multiple Jimmy Garoppolo throwing sessions? Well, this was from the first one, the first time meeting Brandon Aiyuk. So they've gotten some throwing sessions under their belt, and I think Jimmy Garoppolo likes what he sees with a guy in Brandon Aiyuk. And we talked about what happens whenever you go ahead and start off your first year in the Kyle Shanahan offense. It's difficult to duplicate your rookie numbers. You can ask Deebo Samuel, who played very, very well, obviously his final year at college, and then played very well in the Shanahan offense, but still didn't have big-time numbers like you see, like comparably to what Brandon Aiyuk did his final year at Arizona State. So the hope is all this one-on-one time and these one-on-one workouts and these throwing sessions are going to get Brandon Aiyuk to a position where he can not only flourish in the Kyle Shanahan offense, but flourish sooner rather than later. That's the big fear right now with a guy like Brandon Aiyuk, who honestly is expected to be the number 2 wide receiver in this depth chart, at least the number 3 wide receiver in this depth chart. You would hope he would be at least as good as Hurd is this year, and at least better than Bourne and Pettis and the rest of the bunch there at wide receiver. So we don't know exactly how far along Brandon Aiyuk is, but all the reports are saying, 1, healthy from that surgery, which is the big news, but 2, working out with Jimmy Garoppolo and looking pretty good as he was doing it overall. I really hope that Aiyuk has a big year. I hope you see not only Samuel have a great second year, but Hurd have a good first year, and then Aiyuk follow him up, and the 49ers have one of the better young wide receiver cores in the National Football League. There you go. All the time we have for today here on the 49ers Report, trying to get you guys caught up and up to date on all the latest 49ers news and rumors. Again, be sure to subscribe. That way you are notified whenever we drop more news, and then we go live and we do all the fun stuff that we do here on the 49ers Report. All the time we have for today. I am Thomas Mott signing off. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe. You're still working from home. No worries. Just hang out and keep watching more stuff here on the 49ers Report. Again, I'm Thomas Mott signing off. Enjoy the rest of your day.